Okay, great. So for all of you tuning into the recording here, my name is Andrew Banish. I'm the product director here at NeuroMaker, and I am happy to announce the 2022 Summer NeuroMaker Challenge Awards. We had projects come from all over the country, which we're going to describe to you all here, and we're going to announce who our judging panel thought met the criteria that we put in place to better how people can design their own assistive technology projects. So let's introduce who we have with us today. So number one, your host, as I mentioned before, my name is Andrew Banish. I was, along with a few of the other people that you'll be visiting or you'll be hearing from today, one of the people who created NeuroMaker out of Brainco. So I've been doing a lot of different STEM programs in the past. Anybody who's First Robotics, I was heavily involved with that for quite a long time. And now what I like to do is find new ways that we can introduce assistive technology, and in particular, brain-computer interface tech to people who want to learn it. And we saw quite a few of those projects come in this year. So I hope that you found that really engaging and interesting. So I'll be hosting all of this today. Also on the judging panel, we have Kyle Lee. So I'll give a quick introduction to you, Kyle, and then if you want to just say a couple of quick words, you are more than welcome. So Kyle is the senior product manager for everything at NeuroMaker. So he knows our hardware and software inside out, and has also been one of the founding members of the team. And he is absolutely no stranger to these NeuroMaker Challenge Awards. So how are you feeling, Kyle?
Hi, Andrew. Thank you. First off, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for participating in our newest round of the NeuroMaker Challenge, and also thank you for joining this webinar right here. So I am responsible for the concept to launch processes for the hardware and software products, and I think one of the biggest differentiators we have is that we have this real industry tie-in, and seeing the students being able to learn the knowledge from the NeuroMaker hand, from the NeuroMaker BCI, and also apply additional thinking into solving another real-world problem. This is exactly what we want to see right here. So I'm really, really proud of everybody.
Well, 100%, totally agree. So thank you, Kyle. Moving on to our next member of the judging panel on here is Gu Yu, who is it says here, hardware engineer. However, he has been promoted quite a few times. So Gu Yu, among many other things, has created and manages all of the software systems that we use, particularly with BCI. So Gu Yu, how are you feeling today?
Hey, hello everyone. So my name is Yu Gu, and right now I'm the hardware engineer for the NeuroMaker team, and I develop our product with Kyle from pieces of ideas to right now major product. And recently, for the past year, I mainly focus on the software development for our NeuroMaker team. And today I'm very happy to join this award ceremony, and let's see who will win the prize.
Sounds good. I agree with you, Gu Yu. So let's go ahead and get started then. So let's do a quick look back at what the NeuroMaker Challenge is for anybody who's new to it. So this will just take a moment. So everybody who participated in this challenge went through this process. So the challenge was to research, define, ideate, prototype, refine, present, and then recognize your own contribution in assistive technology. So for assistive technology, we kept this definition pretty broad. So any kind of new method or mechanism in which we can better the human experience, particularly for those who have some kind of disability. So that can come in all kinds of different forms. Of course, we work mostly with prosthetics and BCI devices, neurotechnology, and those were all reflected in the projects that came in. So the way that these were all evaluated was we used the judging rubric. So I hope you were all able to, from the projects that came in, it looked like you all had a good chance to review these things. So we looked at three main categories. So number one is the engineering design process. What was your background research like? Well, how did you design, or how did you create your design methodology to go for the problem that you found? How did you reflect on this and discuss it? I was also very happy to see that pretty much everybody who submitted this year had a working prototype, which is actually a lot harder than it sounds. So a lot of engineering design decisions went in there. For general pieces of the process that we looked at the overall design, how creative it was, how reliable, and then finally for the presentation itself. One thing that we can speak to on our side of the world of neurotechnology, whether it be in the medical space or consumer education, the way that people can understand what you're doing and the way that you can communicate it to others is really crucial. So that's another huge part of our criteria. So these are all the skills that you exhibited, and these are the different criteria that we use on the judging panel to find our ultimate winners. I'm also very happy to announce that, well, I'll talk about this in a bit, but everybody who is tuning in here is indeed going to get something, which is awesome. I always love being able to make sure that everybody leaves here happy. So everybody can just stay tuned. I think all of the skills that you exhibit here are going to be recognized by us today. So speaking of which, we're going to be giving out 3 awards. For all of you, I can see that we had some repeats from last year who got involved with this challenge. You are very smart people. For whatever the reason, I think we are one of the best kept secrets out there in the world of projects with neurotechnology and really any kind of STEM skills. Summer, for whatever the reason, tends to be a pretty slow round for the NeuroMaker challenge. So we actually got three submissions that came in this judging round. So 1 in the middle school space and 2 in the high school space, which means, of course, that everybody gets to have some sort of an award. So the judges really had to spend some time on the high school side of things. So we're going to be presenting these awards today. However, we typically, if you want to submit again, we do have another opening that happens on December 20th. And those awards will come out in January of next year. So they'll be in 2023. For those, we typically get a lot of responses. So we got quite a few of them. I think it was almost 30 last round. So you're all very smart for submitting over the summer. That makes your chances go up a lot higher. But of course, it's not to detract from the hard work that you put in. It was also very evident. So we're going to present these 3 awards today based on that judging rubric. The people who judge these things were not just myself, Guyu, and Kyle, but we also had our entire product and a lot of members of our research and development team. So people really across the spectrum of bringing these technologies into the real world. So people who actually operate it as a product, people who are designing it, people who are going through research papers. So we got quite a few interesting people to contribute to this. Okay, so I'm getting very verbose, so let's jump right into it. So first, I just want to show our project spotlights before we show our awards. So as we mentioned, we got 3 different submissions. So we had 3 different projects that came in. So the first one, you can see that we had a neurofeedback system. I'm just going to preview the video here. We're going to put all of these videos up on our NeuroMaker YouTube channel right after this presentation. So if you want to see these for yourself, keep an eye out for our YouTube channel. But let me go ahead and just review this one first. So we had at the high school category, we had a fabulous presentation from Sachi Goyal from Ramstream here, who created their own. So Sachi created her own neurofeedback system that would actually test how well people could focus on different activities with neurotechnology. So there were some with ADHD, some that were not. And I'm just going to skip through here a little bit. As I mentioned, this video will be available for you all to see after this presentation. But a lot of really cool work went into this. You can see she built a working prototype that actually lit different lights depending on how well people were focusing in on a certain project. There were some cognitive examples that people had to go through. Once again, it's really cool to see how people can actually create something real with this technology and particularly test it and see how it works. So there was some really great feedback on here on how this could be brought to a higher stage or how it could be improved upon a little bit. But once again, we're really happy to see this stuff actually enter the real world. So that was one of our first projects that came in. So another project that we had an electromagnetic hand. This was a really, really cool way to expand on how different prosthetics can be used. So typically what we see a lot with our different prosthetics technology are things that work with different kinds of motor control to pick up and manipulate different kinds of objects. What was really interesting about this project was how students could actually put together electromagnets that would grip certain objects. If amputees are trying to grasp things that are a little different for them to make contact with, this was a really innovative solution that saw a different kind of technology that we haven't seen before, which I thought was absolutely excellent. And you can see here, there was some really interesting case studies on how certain utensils could be gripped. So this is something that was really innovative. And as I mentioned before, we had not seen before. So this was a true delight to see. So this is in the middle school space. And then finally, our last high school project We had River Hill come back to us again, where they created an AI-powered hand. A lot of the things that are provided within NeuroMaker equipment for prosthetics are for AI tools that are normally not written with text programming. So we offer some different stuff that has pre-built image recognition software. What we thought was really interesting about this project was, not only was there some research done on the American Sign Language programs and what kinds of ways people use these things, but also the fact that these students were able to put together this kind of technology with some other open source libraries. So you can see here, there was some Python programming that went into this, a lot of testing that went in. You could see that a lot of different protocols were followed in order to make this work. And then at the end, there was a lot of really cool examples. And of course, there's all kinds of different conclusions that the students were able to draw about how this could be improved. Of course, like you could add on a lot of different pieces to the hand itself to make it make more American Sign Language gestures. But this was a really, really cool way to see how these different things can work together, and another cool way to see how you could implement a different kind of programming to stuff that's normally not included in the stuff that people use. So once again, showing creativity and a lot of initiative from these students, something a lot more than just stuff that comes out of the box. So I'm gonna clean up this screen a little bit. Okay, so those were our 3 projects, which means that we have a few different finalists to show here. So just to give everybody a little bit of preface to these things. So as I mentioned, we're going to be giving out 3 awards. There's going to be first place for middle school. I think we can all guess which one that is. I do want to give you a little bit of pomp and circumstance though. And then of course, we're going to have first and second place for high school. So first place winners are going to leave with $1,500 in order to further their prototype. They'll also receive recognition from us. You'll be up on the NeuroMaker website. You're actually being an inspiration for all of their students who work with these things. And our second place winners will get $750 also to keep their prototypes moving. We'll get in touch with you in email so you can get all the paperwork figured out, and we'll wire that to you as soon as we can. So with that in mind, we're going to be looking at these 3 projects, and what I would ask Guyu and Kyle, once we've taken a look at a particular project, if you don't mind sharing anything else that you thought was interesting or innovative about these projects, and then we'll get all 3 of these squared away. So once again, all this stuff will be up on our website at the end of this webinar, and we'll get in touch with you about all the awards that we talked about as soon as this is over. So with that in mind, let's see where we are. So first, middle school first place. Maybe there's not a whole lot of tension behind this one, but middle school first place, we're very happy on the NeuroMaker team to award this to Mount View Middle School for the really cool electromagnetic hand. Once again, this was truly awesome. The first time we've seen this put in place to a prosthetic. This was really, really innovative. You will be leaving with $1,500 in order to further your prototype and make it something even bigger and better. And we'd love to see what you turn this into next. But congratulations, Mount View. You did an awesome job, and you are going to leave here with something that we hope can further your contribution in this field. So Guyu and Kyle, in case you have any kinds of feedback that you'd like to give, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, so yeah, I have some feedback. So I was shocked by the students' electronic knowledge. The EMG sensors works very well on this project. Meanwhile, this project come up with a very convenient method to control the hand. So it's really amazing.
Yeah, one more thing I want to kind of mention is that using very appropriate tool, either for programming or for sketching, like the one that's attached on here, it's also part of the highlight of this project.
Totally, 100% agree. So once again, congratulations, Mount View Middle School. We'll be getting in touch with you after this, and you have shown absolutely awesome work here. We hope to see you do a lot more with this in the future. Okay, and next, our high school second place. So 2 more to get through. So our high school second place award, which will receive $750 to make their project go even farther, and of course get all the accolades that come on our website. And from the rest of our team, will be awarded to Ramstream. So out to you, Safi. So you did an awesome job with your project. Once again, it was really cool to see how you are able to take a real world product, combine it with some programming and hardware, and actually make your own really research study out of this to see how you can make cognitive control a little bit easier for people to learn and take your first steps into some real neurofeedback. So absolutely awesome work. I thought this was incredible and just thought you needed to know that. So you and Kyle, once again, if you have any other thoughts.
Yeah, of course. So I think this is a practical project. The students want to help ADHD group. It's very meaningful. And I can see that the method of control the test is used in the experiment in this project. And the students created some circuit connection by themselves. So it's really awesome.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I mean, using the LED lights might sounds like not something that's super complicated. However, it is important for the headband to have a good feedback, because we're at end of the day, it's helping us to better understand how our brain functions. And it might not be the most intuitive way if we're looking at the brain waves and everything. So when we're making this into actually accessible devices for people to start using without a huge learning curve or a barrier, being able to think of a way to transform the data into something that's easily receivable, that's also very meaningful components of the BCI.
Totally, and to echo that, I think the form factor here was a really good choice. Just as Kyle said, like finding that right way for people to understand what their brain is doing without having to look at a lot of additional data can really help people out. So this is absolutely awesome. So congratulations. And then high school first place, of course, by process of elimination, will be awarded to, oh boy, let's make sure this River Hill. So this was also, like, once again, really cool way to implement something new into the way that you can work with these different products. I thought in particular it was really awesome the way that you all took the initiative to find appropriate libraries that would work with a project like this, some open APIs. All this stuff seemed to, a lot of your prototypes here seem to work pretty well. And with some additional ways that you can work with the hardware and maybe some other software testing, I have full confidence that you could take this even farther if you wanted to. So I thought this was absolutely awesome. And you will be leaving with $1,500 to make this project even bigger and better. So with that, yeah, Guyu and Kyle, any finishing thoughts on this project?
Yeah, I'll just go ahead this time. This is really cool. I mean, this is just so cool. I think we've also the early development stage of the NeuroMaker HIM, we also tried something like this. Being able to recognize things visually, it's also one of the most important things for real prosthetic hands. And it can go really far away. There are different types. The simpler ones can be as simple as a proximity sensor, or it can be something that recognizes a QR code or a RF tag, that can something that you place on an object that you grab very often. And then if you want to make it more complicated or more intuitive, you actually can integrate a camera. Not only can it recognize what object this is, that you can preset it, or it can also measure the actual parameter or the dimensions of the object, so that will actually allow it to grip without any kind of your manual input. So this is really impressive.
Yeah, so as Kyle mentioned, the AI feature is a very important feature in our NeuroMaker hand. And I can see the students have a very good understanding of Python programming. And they import different libraries to recognize human voice and design different gesture functions in the whole program. Meanwhile, I think this is a meaningful project in the real world to help deaf people with sign language. I'm proud of you guys for finishing such a wonderful project.
Absolutely. So completely agree. So all the projects we received were absolutely awesome, and I hope you can all give yourselves a big pat on the back for taking this on, especially since you all did this really by yourselves, and like all the video production too, putting the report together. It's a lot more went behind this than what we could all see on camera. And I think for a lot of your projects too, I saw a lot of additional materials come through for the research that you looked at, and some additional videos that came in that explain your project more than just the time allotted that the judging committee could review. So for anybody else who's watching this out there, a lot of things really went into this that didn't even make it into this short of a presentation. And even going as far as to look at the videos themselves on our YouTube channel doesn't even do the justice that a lot of these students put in there. So once again, congratulations to all three of you. I hope this can be a stepping stone into something bigger that you want to do in this field as your career and your education progresses. We're all very happy to see your progress here. And as I mentioned before, we'll get in touch with you to make sure that you get everything you need for your awards. If you need any other additional sort of recognition to use this in whatever purpose that you need, we'd be more than happy to help you out. You can feel free to drop us a line on our website or respond to some of the emails that we sent out to set up this webinar. And just wanted to give you one last congratulations. So thank you, everybody. A recording of this webinar will be available on our YouTube channel as well. I'll get it up probably sometime by next week, and would be available for any other questions that you might have. But for right now, just wanted to say thank you again. And yes, and hope you all enjoyed this project. So with that, I'll leave you there, and hope you all have a great day.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.